Hey YouTube people, today we're looking at this, the Kamrui Hyper H2. It's a slightly unbalanced but powerful in many ways mini PC. It has a Core i5-14450HX in it, 10 cores, 16 threads, and we're going to look at it now. Gamers and creators, meet the desk that actually levels up your entire command center. The FlexiSpot CyberX, built for power, precision, and serious style. This isn't your average standing desk. The height adjuster? A joystick-inspired lift control. Lets you use your desk how you want. The premium tabletop has a sleek carbon fiber texture with an ergonomic curve for all-day comfort. But here's the huge win for gamers with wireless accessories. Unlike metal desktops that can mess with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and your game controller's RF signals, this wood-based surface looks and works great without adding interference to your spaces. Strength? Insane, best-in-class load capacity at up to 352 pounds. Powered by dual motors and 3-section legs for rock-solid stability, even with dual monitor setups. The built-in RGB lighting looks amazing. It's fully integrated edge lighting on 3 sides. A welcome addition in a world of cheap stick-ons and finicky magnetic lighting that you find on other desks. FlexiSpot's monitor arms let you reclaim your desk space. Plus, built-in cable tray, cup holder, and headset hook. You can keep your space clean and professional. So whether you're grinding long gaming sessions, streaming, editing, or working, the CyberX lets you transition sitting to standing instantly. From the gamer-themed carbon fiber aesthetic, beautiful integrated RGB, and low interference surface, the FlexiSpot CyberX redefines your gaming command center. Huge thanks to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description below to grab your own FlexiSpot CyberX today. So I mentioned in the intro that this mini PC is a little bit unbalanced, and what I mean by that is it actually has a very powerful, very strong performing CPU. The downside is the iGPU that's on this chip is not the fastest iGPU in the world. Sure, it's going to work fine for media consumption. It has 8K support over DisplayPort. It's not lacking in general graphics capability, but it's definitely not even a powerful iGPU for gaming. So the reason I say it's unbalanced is while it has a very strong processor, the integrated graphics are just not super strong. But there's a lot of areas where you don't necessarily need that. If you're doing purely a media PC, this is a great choice. If you're doing purely some sort of console emulation PC or router or anything that does processing, Excel spreadsheets. I used to build a lot of small mini PCs for desktop work in my organization, and this little guy would have been great. So let's go ahead and unbox it and take a closer look at all the features that it has. All right, here is the Kamrui mini PC. Let's open it up and see what we find on the inside. And wow, mini PC. They were not messing around when they designed this box. It's definitely a mini PC in this box. I see this happen a lot. They recommend avoiding LAN at the beginning so it doesn't have to install the updates in order to install. But we've got the unit here, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But let's see what else we get in the box, because there's some cool things in here. You get actually a 30-page manual here. Nice to see. And of course, we should have a power adapter inside here. Let's take a look. It's actually a really nice one. Some of these mini PCs come with adapters that are not nearly as small as this. So this is about a 120 watt adapter, and it is a very nice size. The other half of it. And we get this in the box, which is a base mount adapter. So you can attach the mini PC right to the back of your monitor and make your own all-in-one, which is pretty neat. Also included in the box, we have an HDMI cable, so you can also attach it directly to the back of your monitor once you have it installed. All right, so let's look at the unit itself. And again, this is a Kamrui H2. The Kamrui H2 in this configuration is a Core i5 14450. This particular CPU is 6 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores for 10 cores, 16 threads all around. And again, this comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of space. And pretty basic, nice looking aesthetic. You got some gold on the side. It does look pretty nice all around. On the front, we have a power button, audio jack, USB 3.0 ports, a Type-C, ventilation on the side. On the back, we have a screw to open the top lid and a little lever that will also help us do that. There's a LAN port here, 1 gigabit LAN, DisplayPort, HDMI, power, and 4 USB ports and additional vents on the back side. And it's cooled on the bottom here. You can see the fan that's deep behind the mesh here that pulls air up and out the side here. So let's take a look and plug this in and get it running and see what kind of performance we can get out of it. All right, let's give this guy a boot. No issues, booting up first try. All right, let's take a look at this little guy. Of course, we've got our 16 threads, 10 cores, and if we go ahead and take a look at the memory, it's running at 3200 megatransfers per second. This is DDR4. We're running a 512 gigabyte disk drive, kind of a no-name brand as far as I can tell. However, if we look at the details on it, it is a PCI 4x4, and if we look at a benchmark of the capability of it, it's reasonably quick, especially for only being a 512 gigabyte drive. It actually has pretty good random write speeds too, which is interesting. So not too bad here. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it is PCI 4, which is great. But let's go ahead. On our Wi-Fi, we've got an 8852BE Realtek chip. So one thing I will say for the Wi-Fi solution is it is quite quick. I see a lot of devices not go over 60 megabytes a second, let alone 40, and this is going over 70 on this file transfer. So that is good to see. Let's go ahead and look at our Geekbench scores. If we go ahead and pull that up, you can see we actually get a pretty decent single core score here, 2538. And the multi-core score is quite good, but a little, I think we could actually push that up. So we'll look in the BIOS here in a moment. And if we look at the details, again, 10 cores, 16 threads. This is Raptor Lake and a max frequency of 4.8 gigahertz. So yeah, I'm actually really interested in seeing what we can do in the BIOS. All right, power and performance. Let's go into the CPU power management control. We do have turbo mode enabled. It is limited to PL1 of 54, PL2 of 65. So I'm wondering if we bump this up to if that will give us a little bit extra power here. Let's take a look at a few other things while we're here in the BIOS. Got our trusted computing set up. Here's our timings on the DRAM. So yeah, pretty basic, not a whole lot of options in here to play with. But let's go ahead and see if we can get a better Geekbench score. Okay, so it looks like we were able to push up that multi up to 10485. All right, I want to open this guy up and take a look at it. On the back, we do have a screw that holds everything. We've got our LAN, and we'll just pull this switch and the top comes off like that. Got 4 more screws that are now exposed. We've got a Timey, never heard of that one, and some Fukun DDR4, 3200 megahertz. And you can see that large LGA 1700 board on the back there. And yeah, so that's really pretty accessible to get in and change your... So yeah, that's really easy and accessible to change out your SSD if you'd like. You do have 2 slots right there. All right, so this has been the Kamrui Hyper H2 with the Core i5-14450 CPU, which definitely is the highlight point of this device. One thing I haven't talked about yet is the value proposition, because while I have mentioned the iGPU is not super strong on this, it does have a very modern and quite powerful CPU. And you can pick this up regularly for around $400 that I've seen it on Amazon, which in a world where bare bones 780M devices, like the 7840HS, now cost $600 or $700, you can get this for around $400, and it comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM and a storage device, which in today's world is actually a pretty good value. But I wouldn't want to mislead anyone who wants to use this as like a pure gaming device, unless your focus is maybe console emulation, because this actually does quite well with console emulation because it's usually not graphics dependent. It's very much more dependent on the CPU side of things, which this does have plenty of CPU power. I do think that if you wanted to use this as an HTPC, it supports 8K over DisplayPort on this thing. You're going to have a pretty good time for any sort of HTPC media use, console emulation, office work, and productivity. This is a great device for this. In fact, I would have bought a ton of these to use in our organization, where we commonly would buy mini PCs and put these on the back of monitors. Great little workstation device for something like that. So yeah, what do you think about the Hyper H2? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're looking to pick up one of these, of course, links in the description. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you on future ones.